There are exactly two things that I love in this planet. One, my absolute goddess, queen of my heart, Hatsune Miku, and the other one is Pokemon. So, when in 2023 an official collaboration between these two worlds was announced, I completely lost it. Like, full on emotional breakdown. I spiritually turned 12 years old again. For anyone who somehow missed this masterpiece of a crossover, Break Voltage is a music and art project where Miku exists inside of the Pokemon world. She got 18 different designs, one for each Pokemon type, and 18 original songs, released through 2023 and 2024. When the designs started dropping, I was waiting day by day, refreshing my Twitter timeline like my life depended on it. And I was just thinking, I need to draw all of them. Fast forward to the end of 2025, no 2026, and I had only drawn fairy type Miku. So yeah, better late than never. In this video, I will be showing you my entire process of drawing every single Pokemiku and then ranking them in a tier list based purely on experience of drawing them. Here's how the tiers work. S tier is drawing was fun, smooth, and I love the result. A tier being fun, a little scuffed, still happy. B tier, kinda painful, but worth it. C tier, painful and could be better. And D tier, I suffered and I regret everything. Alright, let's begin. First up, Psychic type Miku. And honestly, one of my favorites. She was illustrated by Take Uekaki, an artist I deeply admire. The first time I ever saw their work was back in my teenage years, in an animated short called I Can Friday by Day, and it completely rewired my brain with their beautiful and unique art style. This artist also designed some of my all-time favorite Pokemon characters, like Wick, Bea, Alistair, Melanie, Pierce, Raihan, and Nessa. Yes, this is my favorite Pokemon character design ever. Coming back to the Miku, she's so cute. The design is simple, clean, straight to the point, which I really appreciate as an artist. My favorite part is her long ribbon and her bag full of Pokemon motifs, especially this little guy right here. For posing, I start with super simple shapes, especially triangles. Once the pose is done, I move into details: face, hair, clothes, then either clean the sketch or do line art. Base colors, space shading, merge everything, and start rendering. That's the pipeline of all of this. Psychic Miku was honestly smooth and sailing. No major struggles, lots of fun. And Meloetta looks adorable. Fun fact, as a kid, I desperately wanted Meloetta in Pokemon Black and White, but I had no idea what Pokemon events were. I watched so many YouTube videos of people getting these rare Pokemon, but no matter how hard I tried to follow these exact steps, the mythical Pokemon never actually appeared. Anyway, this is an S tier. It's a strong start. Next up, Fire type Miku. I have to be honest here, I already knew this one was going to be rough. My biggest issue here was having to draw Skeledirge. Don't get me wrong, I think the designs of Fuecoco's whole evolution line are freaking good, but I was not ready to draw a Pokemon this huge just yet. I'm still pretty new to drawing Pokemon and creatures in general, so it was ambitious to say the least. I'm also not sure if I fully did justice to Fire Miku's smoky hair, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this illustration. The overall silhouette and rendering looks clean to me, and for some reason this artwork just looks great on a black background. I just wish I could have drawn that Skeledirge much better, you know? I think she goes into A tier for Scuff. I was very excited for Water type Miku. She's also illustrated by another iconic Pokemon artist, Mectani. You may recognize some of her works in Ruby and Sapphire remakes, and these are some of the characters that Mectani has illustrated. Mectani actually illustrated most of the Pokemikus for Project Voltage, and honestly, they are all incredible. Love how simple yet expressive and dynamic their illustrations for the project are. Coming back to my own illustration, I really thought this one would be quite easy. And then, Primarina humbled me. It was way harder to draw than expected, but I eventually got there, I think. I really love the circular composition and overall silhouette of this piece, which is something that I will be focusing on a lot during this series of illustrations. At the time, this was my favorite illustration. Since there was little to no scarf, she goes into the S tier. Remember how in the Fire Miku section, Skeledirge was really hard to draw for me? Well, I knew there was another Pokemon who was about to give me big headaches. No, it's Rillaboom's turn. Grass type Miku herself? No issues. She's really damn cute. Rillaboom? An absolute nightmare. I had literally zero issues drawing Miku for this artwork. But oh boy, when I started to draw this damn monkey. I literally redrew Rillaboom like 3 times. It just didn't look good to me. I really wanted it to interact with Miku in some way, and I ended up coming up with a pose for each that is not too boring, I believe. But it was hard. This Miku illustration is the one that took me the longest at this point too. Also, can you believe that my PC crashed in the middle of the process? I had to start with the rendering again from 0, just when I was just so close to finishing the art. I hate my life. I'm happy with the result, but the experience was rough. B tier. I drew Electric type Miku coming home from uni after a long day. I was tired and had low energy and zero expectations with this piece, but I wanted to draw anyway. Finding a nice pose for her was hard this time, so I kept it simple. I was so tired that even drawing the face for her gave me a struggle. Halfway through the process, I genuinely started to consider if I should even continue with this piece at this point. But I trusted the process and finished it anyways. And I'm glad I did because I actually really like the final result. It's simple yet effective. I do wish I would draw Rotom a bit better though. A tier. Okay, next Miku is Normal type Miku. This is the first illustration that I fully restarted after finishing with line art and base colors. Just look at my first attempt. Just look as if I was doing the art just to continue with the challenge and move on. And that didn't sit right with me. So I started over and thank God I did. This illustration turned out so cute and fun to look at. The shadows are super expressive and dynamic around Miku. The silhouette in this piece is strong, and the word field the second time was incredibly smooth. S tier! I was not excited for Ice type Miku. Her design is nothing that I'm used to, and Labra seemed intimidating for me to draw. It's just such an iconic Pokemon, so it wasn't an option messing it up. I had a clear pose in mind for this Miku. She gives Mafia Guild Boss energy. The design is very angular, which made drawing limbs tricky, and the 3-point perspective I tried to apply added some difficulty as well. I had to do a lot of adjustments just for her proportions to feel right. Lapras had to be redrawn multiple times because it kept looking cursed. Seriously, what the hell is this? But by trusting the process and with a lot of patience, this piece ended up looking amazing in my opinion. A lot of my friends say this is their favorite, and yeah, I get it. I had a lot of scars with him, so 8 years she goes, but spiritually, she's S in my heart. I really wanted to draw this one since the start of the challenge, but I am afraid the result ended up being just enough. Rock-type Miku is adorable, and Aurorius is my favorite fossil Pokemon ever. The round, the softest dinosaur. I skipped line art and painted straight over the sketch for the first time here, just to vary a little. But from now on, it's a technique that I will mostly use on all of these Mikus. It ended up being quite convenient to speed up the process for some reason. The composition just feels a bit awkward in my opinion, but maybe burnout was starting to hit at this point, I'm not going to lie. I like this piece, but it could have been more interesting. A tier. I hated working on this piece. Can you believe I struggled before I even started? I couldn't imagine a nice pose for her. I started my entire drawing like 3 times. Rendering felt so slow through the entire process. My motivation was gone. This illustration took 6 hours, the longest out of all of the Mikus. By the end, I just wanted it to be over. I hate saying this, especially because Flygon is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, but D tier. Flying type Miku is ethereal. Cloud hair, soft colors, sleep expression. I enjoyed drawing Autoria, though it ended up looking a little dummy. But in a charming way. I have not much to say other than the finished look and composition feels pleasing to my eye. I feel like this design could look super cute in a t-shirt. What do you think, huh? S tier. I was inspired that day, so I drew Fire Miku right after Flying type Miku. Now this Miku is the definition of straightforward. I already envisioned a perfect pose for her and just went with it. She's my favorite original from 2023. The Gyaro aesthetic, simple design, perfect pairing with Jigglypuff, pure cotton candy vibes. S tier. Bug type Miku surprised me. Everything from this Miku was just so fun to draw. The earthy vibes, the antenna twinkles, the particles, super cute. I was nervous about Cricketun though, since I never draw bugs, but it turned out great. Also, that mustache, extremely elegant bug. Smooth process. S tier. Poison type Miku. For the first time, I was really scared to draw both Miku and her Pokemon. Again, I'm not used to drawing such cartoonish types of designs, and I'm not even a huge Drogticity fan. I'm sorry, I know this is quite a popular one. I strongly focused on making Miku look amazing, and while Toxtricity's pose is a bit boring, I love the colors and energy here. A tier. Just like Fairy type Miku, Ghost type Miku was super straightforward. This design is overall simple, so it didn't take me too long to draw and paint Miku. I trusted my guts and went back to liner for a cleaner look, and everything just worked. Miss Mikus was a challenge, but I ended up loving her smooth expression. S tier. For the next one, I was excited and terrified in equal parts. The design for this Miku was quite complex. I was also sure that I will have a hard time drawing her Pokemon partner again. I'm talking about Dark-type Miku. At first, I thought of drawing her from a back view, but the hat, hair, and hair accessories were going to feel too cluttered, so I started all over again. I knew second would be risky. At first, when I was lining it, I thought it looked weird and goofy, but actually it turned out great once I started coloring it. The final result captures Miku's mischievous elegance perfectly, and I'm proud of this one. S tier. I love this design, but it's just not my favorite type of design to draw. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but it certainly does to me. I didn't push myself too hard here, but I still put thought into the composition, you know? On the other hand, I enjoy drawing this cute Jirachi, another one of those mythic Pokemon that I will die for to catch as a child, but never really had the chance to get. A tier. This is the coolest Miku. League Twin Tails, insane. I must admit that they gave me a bit of a struggle at first. The pose was tricky, but I pushed through. I thought that Farfetch was about to give me a hard time, but not at all. Also, shout out to Dankori for telling me that Farfetch needed a little bit more of a chest. Look at the difference here. S tier. And finally, after drawing Miku non-stop, we got the final one. Dragon-type Miku. Ever since I started this challenge, I was absolutely scared of the time I had to put my hands into working on this Miku. Most detailed design in my opinion, paired with a huge Pokemon like Miraidon. But it was the final round and it was time to prove that all of the effort I put until this point was not in vain. And somehow, everything clicked. This Miku was not hard to draw at all. I literally speedrun this illustration. Miraidon came together effortlessly. Miku's details didn't overwhelm me, and the composition feels strong, like it should be. I couldn't imagine a better ending for this series. What do you think? And that's all of them. Seeing them together like this is so satisfying. This challenge really pushed me out of my comfort zone and taught me a lot about consistency, composition, and not giving up halfway through. There were many moments where I wanted to quit, but I'm so glad I didn't. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, follow my socials if you would like to see more of my works. I want to start uploading more frequently here from now on. So I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!